How would you describe my job, and what do you feel is the most difficult part about it for me?
Okay.
It's been really fascinating watching the evolution of the work that you do, because I feel like I've had a front row seat to your career trajectory.
From my point of view, your job is to be the principal person to develop and implement the city's public safety plan.
To modernize and update a system that was not even built to have you in it.
Your job calls for forward thinking. Your job calls for strong commitment. It calls for thick skin.
And it's much more political, especially over the last year. I mean, the work that I've seen you do, the way I would describe your job is trying to keep the police department afloat.
Because people have very different views across a whole spectrum of what public safety looks like, how it should play out in real time, how you should or should not relate to people, and how much resources you should have.
You're challenged with finances, you're challenged with resources, and it's hard to be able to serve the community and serve it the way you want to, just knowing you, without the resources necessary to do that.
Because everyone wants to make policing so political, everyone wants to make your position and what you say and everything you do a political statement, or, use it to their political advantage. I think that that's really hard, especially for someone who's a public servant first and someone looking to do their job overall.
And quite frankly, and I don't blame you for this, but I think that many police officers have a sense of entitlement to their jobs. And so the notion that people could challenge what they do or how they do it, or even if they should do it, comes to them as like an affront.
And I think the other hard part has been having to decide on disciplinary actions for like your friends and your colleagues and the people who you kind of came through with, who were your allies. Who gets promoted, who gets fired, who's placed on leave, what investigations have to happen. I think that that's been really difficult as well.
And in many ways, people think of chiefs as being super powerful, but in reality, not necessarily, because they're political appointments, they come and go. They don't have the same guaranteed seniority rights, et cetera, by contract that everyday officers have, and the officers are aware of that in the same way that other public servants are aware of those dynamics. So all of that factors into the way that I interpret you and hear and the things that you say and do.
I would hope that's...
Yeah, very accurate description. Very accurate. I agree with that. I don't like the politics in this job. I'm not a politician. Nothing against politicians, but I'm not a politician, and that's probably the most difficult part of my job is dealing with all the politics of it.
Yeah.
A lot of truth in there. That whole entitlement, officers do have this whole entitlement thing, and that's one of the challenges that I face internally with making changes. The discipline and promotions have been very difficult. These are people that I've worked with sometimes my entire career. And it's not just that person, when you work with somebody for 10 to 15 years, you know their family, you know their kids, you've seen their kids grow up. And so you know that if you're looking to terminate somebody, you know the effect that it's going to have on their family. And that's been one of the most extremely difficult parts of this job.
Yeah. No, I can't imagine. I can't imagine firing my friends, And I know you, and I know that you are someone who values, relationships with people.
All these people are counting on me. Am I going to be able to keep people safe in our community with half the resources that,
right, which is the
previous
that's a
chiefs
problem
have
that
had?
we both share.
Right. And I think that we're trying to bridge those things together to make it good for everybody, department and the community. It's a lot of balls to juggle.
It is, which is why I would not want to have your job.